Day 9. Important topic now. You've got to rise above mediocre expectations. Unfortunately, the world wants you to stay mediocre. That's where the world wants you. But you've got to learn to raise up above that expectation of yourself. So if someone told you that you can't be successful, you've got to raise up above that. If your mom told you that you wasn't clever enough, you've got to raise up above that. So Dr. Andrews is going to really deal with a topic that may be holding you back, that you didn't even realize was there. Something that happened when you was like 5 years old, something like that. So take this on board and be blessed, watch this and be encouraged.
All right, so we're moving on to chapter 9, and obviously the title of this is Rising Above Mediocre Expectations. And you start off saying, whether we think we can or we think we can't, we will always be right.
Yeah.
Explain that.
Well, I think it was a little thing I remember hearing as a child.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I'm writing, weird stuff comes.
Just come back, yeah.
And I remember seeing, the example of the little choo-choo train sort of going up the hill slowly, getting to the top of the hill and going over. And it was this. I remember the rhyme. I know I can, I know I can, I know.
Oh,
I
okay.
can.
Yeah.
And it gets to the top and then, I can't. So
Yeah.
it's the idea that if I live life thinking I can't,
Yeah.
then I'll be 100% successful.
Right. I can't. Yeah.
If you're convinced I can't do that,
Yeah.
and you never try, well,
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if I say, well, I can, or at the very least,
Yeah.
I'll have a go,
Yeah.
then we open ourselves up to the possibility we could do something that we never thought we could have done. We give ourselves the chance to rise above not only our personal expectations,
Yeah.
but even the expectations that other people put on us.
Excellent. Because there was two bits that within this chapter I loved, statements. You said one of the things that we need to do is continually break the mould of limitation, but also raise the bar of expectation, and they were perfectly joined. So obviously, if someone's watching this now, how do you continue to break the mould of those limitations? Because a lot of us live lives not what we dreamed, but someone else dreamt for us.
Yeah.
Type of stuff. So how do I break that mould again?
Yeah.
What advice would you give of
Yeah.
breaking that mould and continue to break that mould? Because I think, as you're saying, one of the themes is that it never stops. You may get to this level, but you could go so much further. You've got to break that limitation.
Yeah.
How do you keep on doing that?
It's a great challenge. I think one of the things we all face is the fact that people around us will have an expectation of us. That's the level you can go to.
Yeah.
Or they have an expectation of us that we're going to become something.
Yeah.
So I have 3 children, all 3 of them from the same gene pool, all completely different.
Yeah.
If I tried to make my son fit the mould of my oldest daughter, I would kill him. I would destroy him.
Yeah.
So as a parent, we've had to learn, how do we draw out the uniqueness of this individual to allow them to explore the boundaries of their potential?
Oh, okay.
So one of the first things to breaking the mold is actually understanding who we are, not who or what people think we are.
Yeah.
I remember meeting a young girl, brilliant person. Her parents desperately wanted her to be a doctor. Desperately. I mean, you're going to be a doctor. We have had you to be a doctor.
Yeah.
And I said, what do you want to be? She said, a teacher. So she was facing probably one of the most difficult mold breaking moments. Parents who had invested phenomenal amount of money in her, and yet they were essentially not getting who she was. So one of the keys to breaking the mold or breaking the expectations around us is understanding truly who we are, recognizing the gifts we have, because those gifts have maybe a natural limit as well, but a natural opportunity, and finding ways to express those things uniquely, so that we don't end up living out the limitation of somebody else's life. So example, when the early settlers, white settlers, Western settlers went to Australia, they had a continent in front of them that was 1 trillion times bigger than the UK, but they ended up building, back to back, 2 up, 2 down terrace houses. What's that all about? Well, all they're doing is reflecting their mould. Their mould is small. They've come from the UK where everybody lives on top of each other. They've gone to a continent where they could all have like a dozen acres each and still be plenty of room. What do? They build 2 up, 2 down, back to back, side by side, because that's what they know.
Yeah.
In order to build bigger, you've got to break out of the mould that you know. So if your mould has been a small one, if you've come from a working class background, that where people say, you know, don't get ahead of yourself.
Yeah.
You know, you're one of us. Who do you think you are trying to be a millionaire?
Yeah.
Then the chances are you'll never break out of that unless you reprogram your thinking or get around the sorts of people who can help you move beyond the turkey syndrome into the eagle syndrome.
Because obviously that's one of the things I was just about to say is so when you say raise the bar of expectation, how do you do that? Which will help obviously to break the mold. And one of the things you're saying is just get around the right people.
Yeah.
Get around the right people who are doing things
Absolutely.
that you want to do. But also I think this is quite profound what you're saying is sometimes you just have to stop and reflect.
Yeah.
Am I doing or am I living what I really want to do?
True.
And I suppose there's so many people out there that you feel, obviously you'll meet a lot of people as you'll pass to them and things like that. I mean, do you meet a lot of people who are living lives that just are not theirs, or they're living visions that are not theirs?
Totally.
Because I think one of the examples is if you go to a church, for example, everybody wants to be a pastor.
Yeah.
But why do you want to be a pastor? And that, you know, is that really your gift?
Absolutely.
But everybody's taken on that ball because you walked in church and it's that mentality. Do you find that happens?
Oh yeah, I think that's massive. I think it's huge. I think if you looked at the surveys done on job satisfaction, that's off the scale.
Yeah.
So a little question to ask your audience would be, if you inherited £10 million right now, or you won the lottery and you became a £10 million winner, would you give up your job?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you would, then you probably shouldn't be doing what you're doing right now.
That's profound, isn't it?
So
that's the question.
If my great uncle left me 10 million quid, I would be at work here tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because I'm not here for money.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. I like money. I earn money, and money makes my life better.
Yeah.
But I'm not primarily doing it for money. Money is not my purpose.
Love that.
Purpose is my purpose.
Fantastic.
So if I inherited 10 million quid, I would still be pulling a 40+ hour week, because I would do, and I'd be able to say to the church, you don't need to pay me anymore. I can look after myself, but I'd still do it. This would still be my office. This would still be my world. This would still be my work. And I say to people, if you wouldn't do it with 10 million in the bank, why are you doing it now?
Yeah.
And of course, for most people, it's down to I've got to pay my mortgage.
Yeah.
I've got car repayments to make.
Yeah.
And what we end up doing is becoming a slave to something less than purpose.
Yeah.
And most people it seems never get the chance to really pursue purpose. A great question to ask people: if money was no obstacle, what would you do?
What would you do?
What would you do? What's inside you that you just love to do?
Yeah.
And that's probably close to the epicenter of maybe what you should be doing in terms of the purpose of your life.
I love that. Love that. Right, as again.